Are you a light worker or a starseed who feels like no matter what you do, you just can't catch a break? You can't get ahead on this planet. And maybe you've even wondered if you really even belong here. That's what I'm going to be talking about today, so stay tuned. If you don't know who I am, my name is Karen from karenturpin.com. I am a psycho-spiritual coach, intuitive, a healer, a teacher, a speaker. I've been doing all this for 25 years. I'm also a starseed. So what I'm going to talk about today, I know through personal experience. Now, the majority of my clients are women. I also do work with men as well. And all of my clients, I would say, are light workers or starseeds, but not all of them know that they're that necessarily at this point. I can see it instantly, for the most part, because we hold a particular energy. It's a particular vibration or frequency, and I can feel that. Now, the common theme amongst my clients is that they feel they don't fit into this world, like a little bit like the black sheep of the family, perhaps. And more so in the last 3 years. Now, we know what's been going on in the last 3 years. We've talked about it enough. But what people have found is that they are separated from their communities more so in the last 3 years than ever before. I talked about that in my video last week about the timelines, the split between the Great Awakening and the Great Reset. If you haven't listened to that video, you could check that out from last week. But the thing is, what we're clearly seeing is a shifting and moving of how we fit in, who we fit in with, of what we can be a part as well. Generally, people are saying they don't feel like they belong here, they can't settle anywhere. Do you feel like that? Do you know what I mean? Well, the good news is, if you do feel like that, you're not alone. There are many, many of us feeling like that. And what I'm feeling more and more is the need to create a space and bring us together. It's kind of like, in a way, saying we're the divergence, maybe, of society. We don't quite fit into the same spaces as those people. I think that's amazing. I love that feeling, knowing that I'm different but the same than the rest of you, probably. But there's something unique in that. And that's exactly why I know that we are here for a reason. The bad news to this is that we're actually not meant to fit in with them. That's why we can never quite fit in with them. Sometimes we can't even fit in with our own families. We are the black sheep, or we're the different one. We never quite align to them. And I know over the last 3 years, many people have actually even been thrown out of their families because of their choice with the thingy. So that's it. This is the realization point now, that actually we don't belong in that old world, but we do belong in this new world, and we are here to create the new world. I think that's freaking amazing, actually, that we can evolve from the old world into the new world in this same time and space. It's not quite the same, of course, because there's timelines and things involved. But, you know, even the fact that we're beginning to find each other and come together, and we realize that we're different and we can't fit in, that shows to me how much more of a divide there is that's very obvious and apparent now than there ever was before. It's literally like the Matrix movies. That is the Matrix, the old world. We don't want to belong there. We don't want to fit in there. We're here for something more, something better, something more evolved, something more improved. Now, many of my clients believe that they are targeted individuals, and I can see the truth of that experience. They've had all kinds of attacks, from psychic attacks and ET forces and all kinds of things that sometimes would blow your mind if you've never heard of these things before. But I get it. I get that. There was a period of time where I used to be followed by the black ops. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If that doesn't make any sense to you, let that go, that's okay. But the point is, I used to be followed by black ops. Every time I began a healing session, I would get a black op hovering over my house. I changed a few things, and that doesn't happen anymore. So I know a little bit more of how that works now. We as starseeds also have memory, usually traumatic memory as well. And we remember things from being on other planets, from galactic wars. Now, none of this makes sense if you're kind of not a starseed and you're not into that. And you don't have to understand all of it. That's fine. Just know that different people have different experiences, and that's perfect. We're all unique. We've all got our things to work through and our gifts to bring. And part of being a starseed, we have a lot of gifts, but we have to work through the trauma too. Now, there are many things that don't make sense on this planet. We, as more evolved beings, we see the wrongness of so much of what's happening here on the planet. We see through the lies and the manipulations. Once we wake up, we see the lies and the manipulation. We see the symbology everywhere. We see, the satanic and the Luciferian and all of that energy running through so much of that when we wake up. However, when a light worker or a starseed is overshadowed by the New Age beliefs and the need to fit in and belong with a tribe, so to speak, they tend to unconsciously block themselves from seeing the truth of everything. They want to belong to, let's say, for example, this particular yoga community that work with this particular type of energy. And because they're so desperate to belong to that, or they think that's what they should be doing, they don't see that there's a dark energy coming through it. That's just one example. This, I think, is even more harmful to a light worker or a starseed than a muggle, let's say, because it actually puts us into danger. We have to be awake. We have to be accountable. And we really need to be careful. This is not to scare anyone, please. This is to remind you that you are precious. You can't afford to dabble in things that could harm you, because you are here for a reason. And even if you think you're not, just you being here with your precious, pure DNA code, that's enough. That's what we need. Now, therein lies another trap that's been put forward to us by the New Age. And that is actually a trap that many light workers and starseeds have fallen into, to be perfectly honest with you. And that is being told that you just being here on the planet is enough. You don't need to do anything, you just need to be here. Now, that is a trap that many people have fallen for. I've seen it. Just being here is enough, but only if you didn't get sidetracked and taken down the wrong pathway. And many people have. And many people are still being tempted on a daily basis. So go back to the little example I gave with a particular type of yoga. And this is just, an example. I'm not naming anything specific. So there's a particular type of yoga and they bring in this particular energy, which is actually demonic. And then you get involved in that and you don't realize that that energy is moving through you. And it's changing the structure of the purity that you hold. Actually, you're kind of being overshadowed with darkness, but you don't realize it because you're riding on the belief that just being here is enough. It's not. You have to be conscious as well. You have to be here consciously. You have to see what you're doing, what you're involved in. As I say, many people are still being tempted on a daily basis. And they're also feeling pressured and squeezed and confused right now as well. Because when they wake up to the fact that they have to be conscious and choose, very often they don't want to give up their little yoga group, for example. So they try to tell themselves stories of, no, I'm fine, I know what I'm doing. But this is spiritual bypassing, really. So either you have to be fully committed now to being conscious, to doing your inner work so that you can become clearer and clearer, or the alternative is that you drift back because you don't realize you're being kind of overshadowed by some of the dark stuff. Now we are forging ahead now to create this new earth, and that requires that we do our inner work. So get in your body. Don't be doing all these new age teachings that have you drifting out somewhere. You need to be present in your body. You can't embody your soul if you're not in your body. And you also can't be in your body if you're dissociating all the time because of the unhealed emotion or trauma. Now, another trap for us starseeds particularly has been the belief that we need to kind of be out all over the cosmos collecting our pieces of ourselves from other timelines, from exploded planets, from the trauma from galactic wars. The belief is that we have to go out there searching. But that's another trap, in my opinion. It's another invitation to get us out of the body. And we know, because I've said it many times before as well, that when you are not in your body is open and vacant. There's nobody gatekeeping it. And it's kind of ripe and open and vacant for somebody to come in and occupy it, like a squatter would if you left your house wide open and left, right? So spiritual jaunts into other dimensions, drugs, alcohol, some of these ecstatic, trancey things that they invite you to do. All of that gets you out of your body, and so does checking out when it all gets too hard. But that leaves you open for possession, and it's dangerous. It's mindless behavior. And you need to be conscious because infiltration does occur when you are mindless. So going along with the crowd, doing what everyone else wants you to do, even though you know your inner voice is saying, this is so wrong, you shouldn't be doing this, it's not for you. Overriding your own inner voice and doing what you know is not in alignment for you, basically. That's damaging to your body because, just the same actually as when, let's just say, the authorities try to coerce you to do things that you don't agree with, whether that's digital stuff or injectable stuff or, belief, what you should believe because you listen to the TV. Anything that they try to coerce you into, that your heart is saying, something's a bit off about this. If you follow them and override yourself, you are damaging yourself. So I'll say again, your DNA is precious. Your genetics are precious. You are precious. And we need you awake and present and conscious so that you're making conscious choices. Your heart is so beautiful and pure. And I know that many of us, have been severely wounded by what we've experienced in this life, even, regardless of others as well. And sometimes what we've experienced on this planet is so horrific that we shut down. But this can be healed. It can be healed. You're not broken. You've been bashed up, for sure, but you can heal. So why do we feel so stuck? Why do we feel that we can't get ahead? Well, firstly, because many of us are scattered. We think we're lost in the universe somewhere. We think we've landed in the wrong place, on the wrong planet. We don't belong here. We're constantly searching for something, and we're trying to fit in with people and groups and beliefs that we're never going to align to, because that's not what we're here for. If your belief is that you will never be able to belong here or ground here, if you're out of your body searching for something, if you're in fight and flight, you will never feel that you belong here. But the point is, the earth is changing. And my question to you is, are you trying to fit into the old world? Because you never will. You're here to create a new world. And that's why finding like-minded people who are doing the work with you, that's where you find your alignment and you feel that you belong. That's when you begin to anchor all of your gifts and talents that you came here for, because you're here for a reason. So secondly, one of the reasons why we feel stuck and we're not getting ahead is because we've locked in to too many of the false New Age beliefs. So in my video last week, I spoke a little bit about it. I've got a class coming up in a couple of days' time. I'm going to be talking all about the false ascension matrix and Twilight Masters and all of that stuff. So if you want to join me at that class, just DM me and I'll send you the details. Basically, the false New Age stuff, false ascension, false white light, New Age beliefs, all of that was specifically designed to stop us from evolving further. So we've hit a barrier, right? We can't go beyond. And that's why you feel stuck. Even if you think you're doing all the right things, there's something that you just can't break through. Now, it was designed to trap people as they woke up. The light workers are stuck here. Now, the starseeds can always go higher because of the way our energy body is. But this need to belong and to fit in, not realizing that we're slightly different than the light workers, this need to always fit in and do the things that everyone's doing pulls us down and aligns us to that false New Age stuff. We feel that we belong with these people, even if we know we're a starseed and they're light workers and healers. And this is not to say anyone's better or less than. This is all to do with what's written in your energy field, DNA, right? So the starseeds actually pull themselves down a little bit to align to that stuff. They could go higher, but they don't want to be in their full power, in a sense. They don't see the potential there for them. They just want to belong. This is all about belonging. So they dim their light, they try to fit in, and basically they give their power away and they drop frequency in order to belong. We gave our power away to some of these false light teachers, and our self-worth went with it, because many of these groups, the false light leaders and teachers, they have a particular way of using their words that diminish our power. So we gave our self-worth away. We also learned to no longer trust ourselves. We didn't believe in ourselves anymore. And very often these groups have you checking in with the teacher to think what he or she thinks you should be doing next, that kind of thing. So we've basically dismantled ourselves from the inside out as we've given our power away. And that's why we feel like crap a lot of the time. Well, that was my journey too. So I've been there. I've grown through it. I've learned through it. I understand how to rebuild yourself. So before I end today, consider this with me. I would suggest to you that the reason you could never fit in and belong here is because you were trying to fit into a 3D world that you were never designed to fit into. That's not who you are. You are a more evolved being. Whether you are a starseed, a light worker, if you consider yourself a healer, an intuitive, just a spiritually interested person. Maybe you're not even in the healing arts. It doesn't matter. It's all about your energetic signature. That's what counts. If you can't fit in a 3D world, it's because you're not an earthling. You're different. You're more evolved than that, right? So because you were trying to fit in, it required you to drop your energy to slot into that slot with the 3D old world. That's why you feel so crap. You're disempowering yourself when you're trying to fit in with that. No, you're here for more than that. You are here to help the planet evolve. You are here to help raise the frequency on the planet. And nothing could stop that now. It's happening. It's just a case of where you will decide to align to. And it's really only now, I think, that we can fully come into our power and take up our real place here on the planet. Really step into what it is that we're here to do, which I think is beautiful. It's perfect timing. Been waiting long enough, have we not? But anyway, this is the time that we've been waiting for. And yes, we've been in a holding pattern, and actually we've lost some of our people during that time. Even to this day, I'm watching people go off the cliff into that direction. As the earth evolves, though, through this dimensional shift, our new earth is being created here. We're still in the fallout zone, obviously. We look at the mess that's all around us every day, my goodness. It's literally like a bomb has gone off, right? But here we are, we're sorting through the rubble so that we can begin to rebuild a better world than the one that we're seeing around us, the one that we've lived in up to this point. Nobody is better equipped to do this than we are. But quite honestly, we really have to get our shit together. We can't keep spiritual bypassing. We can't keep ignoring it. We literally have to work on our inner stuff. We have to get strong. Because whenever there's an unhealed trauma, there's a weakness there. I'm not calling you weak. Please don't think that. But we can be triggered and we can just, fall off the wagon again because it's painful. So we really have to work on our stuff so that we can get strong. And we have to do this for our children because our next generation are coming into this new earth. I'm a grandma now. I love being Nanny Karen. I want my grandson and those that are coming along behind, because there will be more coming into our family, I want them to come into a beautiful world, not this shitstorm that we've all had to live through, especially the last few years. But this is a battle for your consciousness. And the other guys, the dark agenda, they want the Great Reset. They want the ownership of this planet. So we have to be strong enough to stand up and say, no, your lease is ended, your lease is expired, you're out. We're not in 3D here anymore. You can't come in and lay your stuff on us. We're more evolved than that. And we can't give up. Our lives, but most importantly, our children's lives depend on us. We're the ones that we've been waiting for. The time is now. That's become a cliche statement, but never has it ever been truer than it is now. We have to step up. We have to do this for the children, for our mission, for everybody that comes after us. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Reach out if you need help. I've got classes, I've got courses, I've got a whole load of things there to support you to step up, to step into your mission, because that's my mission, to help you in that way. So if this has been a helpful video for you, please like it, share it, subscribe. All of the algorithms on these social media things, need to be bumped up by people liking, sharing, subscribing. So please do that and help me to get the message out to more of our people so that we can come together and really make a difference here. Awesome. I hope you've enjoyed it. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.